So you're self-quarantined, you need a bit of a fix to get you through that plant addiction? Well, you came to the right channel. Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, we are doing another houseplant haul video. And I hate to say this, but I think this will be my last one until further notice. Obviously, we know what's going on and I'm self-quarantined. Hopefully you guys are as well and doing your part to help flatten the curve. But yeah, I don't know when the next time I'm going to be able to see a nursery or go to a plant shop. Hopefully not too long, and hopefully we can get this thing over with so we can get back to our normal lives. But I know you guys are out there feeling a bit of anxiety. So I'm here to help you, release some of that anxiety, release some of the tension, the stress with some plant content. So today I'm going to show you guys all the plants I picked up in the beginning of the month. And I'm excited because I got some pretty cool plants that I'm actually excited about. I haven't been this excited about plants since my last houseplant haul video, which was just last month. But seriously, I got some pretty cool plants here that I'm excited to show. So let's get to it. We'll start with the, ta-da, Philodendron Silver Sword. So this little guy I got actually at the orchid show out in Burlington about a few weeks ago. And if you haven't been to an orchid show, I highly recommend you go to one because it is pretty amazing and spectacular. Like, I've never seen that many varieties of orchid show. But if you haven't been to one, I'm going to provide a link of the show I went to and you can definitely check it out. But I got this Philodendron Silver Sword from Crystal Star Nursery as well as with some other plants I'm going to show you guys. But this one I like because look at the leaves. I mean, like, come on, look at that silver shine and just beautiful, perfect leaf. And but this guy's obviously a small guy. But philodendrons typically are somewhat, medium to fast growing depending on your lighting condition and your environment. But these guys love to thrive in bright indirect light. And typically with my philodendrons, I like to water them when the soil is almost dry, not necessarily bone dry, but just before it gets dried out. They do thrive with a lot of humidity. So I do have these guys by my humidifier at least once a week. And yeah, I love this guy, and I'm hoping this guy does a lot better than my pink princess philodendron. So really hopeful for this guy. It cost me 40 bucks for this little guy, but it's one of those plants that are not as common right now or commercially available at your kind of local plant shops. So the next plant I got is the Syngonium Treubii Moonlight. So this guy has a very similar silver tone as the Philodendron Silver Sword, and it's a Scindapsus. So obviously I find these guys similar to a pothos in terms of care guide. I have most of my pothos and Scindapsus in bright indirect light. I have a south-facing window, as you guys know, and I typically wait for the soil to be completely dry before I water these guys. But I love this guys, and obviously just the shape of that leaf as well as the tone of it. You got a kind of a two-tone. You got the silver tone, and then behind that you have a bit of that nice green, mid-rib to it. So one thing also about Scindapsus is they just trail really nicely. So I think I'm gonna have these guys definitely on top of the bookshelf and just trail beautifully like my other pothos and Scindapsus. But yeah, really happy about this one. So the next plant I got also from Crystal Star Nursery is the Syngonium Wendlandii. I think that's what you call it. But this guy's obviously an arrowhead plant, similar to my pink splash. So why I got this guy is because lately I've been really into a lot of this green on green kind of variegation, and this is what this guy has that two-tone, has a nice light green in the middle and then that nice dark foliage around it. So really like this guys. And when it comes to Syngonium, you guys know how fast these guys grow. Easy to care for. I find they thrive better in like medium or low light, and making sure that you don't let the soil dry out completely. But yeah, this guy's a little cutie right now. So next plant I got is actually one of my favorite, or lately I've been really getting to these types of plants. It is the Dischidia Platyphylla. So this is my second Dischidia. My first one is actually a string of nickels, a variegated kind, but lately I really am liking the Dischidia. Very similar to the Hoyas, where they got typically much more thicker leaves where they retain a lot of the water. So these guys you don't need to water often. I do have them similar to a watering schedule as my Hoyas. Have them in a nice area that gets a lot of bright indirect south-facing light. And this one has these like cute flowers that's blooming right now, and yeah, and it's kind of trailing off this a little I forget what this is called, like a trellis, but a vented trellis. But yeah, really liking it. And man, I'm now interested in getting I've been looking at different types of Dischidia, and I'm now interested in getting a few more. But yeah, I like this guy a lot. So but it's not the favorite plant I picked up out of the bunch from this trip I did at the orchid show. The next one I got is actually the favorite one I picked up, and this, when you pick up a plant, and you never had that type of plant, but then once you get one, you kind of then want to get a whole bunch of varieties. Well, this guy has got me into a new obsession. I'm excited to show you. It is the Monstera Dubia. So this guy I was so excited to find because, man, I am loving lately the shingling type of plants that can climb up and obviously cling onto a board or a wall. And this is currently a juvenile or baby one right now. And when these guys grow out to be really big, especially in the wild, their leaves do get pretty large and they do end up having splits, similar to like a Monstera deliciosa. But I love the way the leaves are, the pattern, the texture, and it has some of that kind of a translucent, not translucent, but more of a kind of a shine to it. But yeah, I am loving this guy, and I was excited to find that it was thriving really well, that it started to split into different vines off the main vine. So I actually did cut a few, and now I have those guys propagating in water. So I'm excited to for those ones to be obviously into plants, and then make a couple more of these guys. But yeah, I'm really feeling this one. So those were all the plants I got from the Orchid Show and from Crystal Star Nursery. The next group of plants I got were from a new nursery that I just recently discovered just out here in Ajax, Ontario, just outside the city of Toronto. It is Vandermeer Nursery, and if you guys have not checked out my little tour of it, a more relaxing, calming tour, especially now, if you guys have some anxiety, definitely check it out. I'll provide a link right here. But I was so happy that I discovered this nursery, and I finally went because they got some pretty cool plants, and I picked up a couple of plants there. We'll start with the Rhaphidophora Tetrasperma. So this guy, also known as a mini Monstera, and one reason why I really love this guy is because they are fast growers. Like, I got this guy a couple of weeks ago, and it already sprouted like a new leaf, 2 new leaves, and this one right here, it has the like splits on it, similar to what you would see in your Monstera deliciosa. It doesn't do fenestrations, not that I'm aware of, which are the holes that you see on your you know, deliciosa. But this guy obviously is a beauty, and I'm going to probably put this guy on like a moss pole because I want this plant to climb up and get really big and see how big I can get this guy. But really excited for this. But yeah, so the next plant I got from Vandermeer Nursery is the Philodendron Birkin. So this guy, I'm going to be completely honest, I'm not as sold or excited about as the rest of the plants here. And it was one of those like buy in the moment experience. So I don't know, maybe one day it'll grow on me. I'm sure I've had some plants in the past that I got that I wasn't excited about, and eventually it grew on me. I'm trying to think of one. Oh, my Ficus burgundy. At first when I got that, I was like, meh, kind of boring, but now I am loving that plant. So who knows, maybe when this guy gets bigger, I'm probably gonna, you know, like it. And I do like the green on green variegation, like I mentioned, but yeah, just, I don't know, just something about it that I'm not sold on it yet. I don't know if you guys have any of those experiences in the past. You know, what plant did you get at first that you weren't sold on, and then eventually it grew on you? So comment, let me know, and share kind of your plant experiences. But yeah, philodendron. So typically I'll have these guys, as I mentioned, in a bright indirect south-facing window. I'll typically water the plant before the soil completely dries out. But yeah, I'm curious to see how this guy's gonna turn out. But yeah, so the next plant I got is, this one is actually my favorite. And for those of you guys who's following me on Instagram, I'm sure I boasted about this plant quite a bit now because I am really loving it. It is the Ficus Altissima. I mean, come on. Look at the leaves on this guy. Look at that variegation, that green on green variegation. And I love the tree-like look on this. So when I found this guy, there was no second guessing. I went and tried to pick the best one, and I think I got the best one out of the bunch because it's, you know, it has this nice straight up look, and it's branching out into this tree form, and the leaves all look so healthy, and it's a ficus, right? So typically I really like all my ficuses, and this guy is going to, you know how I like my ficus elastica teneki that I've had for about a couple years. It's thriving really well. I think this might be my favorite ficus now. So, but I do love this guy, and I hear if you have these guys out more outside in the summer, the leaves, the lighter green, actually ends up turning into like a golden color. So then you have kind of that green golden variegation combination. But I think I like this more of the light green and green on it. So I don't think I'm gonna have this guy outside, but we'll see. But yeah, definitely one of my favorite pickups, and I was so happy. But the next plant I got is actually actually the last plant I picked up, and will probably be the last plant I pick up for a while. I also got it at Vandermeer Nursery. It is the Rhaphidophora Hayi. So this guy is another one of those plants that shingle up on a board, and like I said, ever since I got that Monstera Dubia, I am now obsessed with shingling plants. So I was so happy to find this guy, and you know, it was a bit pricey, but I think for the size and just how well it's thriving already and growing, and I'm excited. So they typically do grow fast, and the one thing I am really happy now that, you know, with these types of plants I've been getting is I finally got a good humidifier. And some of these plants like the Hayi, the Monstera Dubia, the Philodendron, they need some good humidity, right? So now I was able to get a really good humidifier, and I'm going to provide a link in the description below of what I got. But yeah, so now I am confident that these plants will thrive really well in my home. So this guy I give obviously a lot of bright indirect light, and I typically will water this guy regularly, not allowing maybe the soil to dry out completely. I still need to do a bit more research on the care tips for this guy, but so far he's thriving, loving it, and yeah, I'm excited about it. Those are all the plants I picked up, and you know, I think this will get me through this lockdown for a while, or however long it may take, but really excited nonetheless. Let me know if you guys have any plants that you would like to add to your collection, or if you have any questions about them, comment and ask below, and I'll definitely get to them as soon as I can. Other than that, hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your week. You know, if you are bored and self-quarantined and looking for additional plant content, you know, be sure to check out my playlist. But other than that, have a good one, and we'll see you guys soon. Peace.